Hello, welcome with a new video. Sorry I've not made a few in a while. One of the reasons I stopped making them is because I was away quite a lot and because it was quite a lot of work to record these. So I've been looking into having a easier way to make them. And one of the things that I added is I added a new camera or an action camera, an Osmo from DJI, Osmo 4, Action 4. And I made a special mount for it using a 3D printer, which I kind of designed myself, which is really easy. But that means that it fits perfectly, and I put it on the front of my bike, not on the steering wheel, but basically on the steering column, so that it does not move a lot. And it also means that because the DJI Osmo 4 has a magnetic connector, it's really easy to put on and to remove again. And for me that's kind of important because that means that I can put the camera on really easy and quickly in 2 seconds and go biking. And I'm guessing that will be a reason why I will make more now. So that was kind of a long intro. I will show it quickly in a picture, probably about now, while we are passing this lady. So I'll put it in the picture so you can see what I mean. It's kind of nicely hidden. Not that I think that's important, but it's also a bit weird if you have a bigger camera on the top of your steering wheel. And it also, of course, if you steer, then also the camera moves. And I think this is a better solution. So this is kind of a test run where I'm trying to figure out how this camera works and how the lighting works. So I was going for a ride, and I think I will call this riding until it starts raining, because yeah, it starts raining at some point, and I was kind of doing loops into the city until it started raining. So the first thing we are going to do is go from the new area where I live of the city to the center of Utrecht. So the area where I live is called Leidse Rijn. And you can see all the buildings are quite new. It's actually kind of a nice stair there on our right side between the buildings. And it just rained, so it was getting dry for about 45 minutes. And you can already see, even on a Saturday, then people are out on their biking around, but not as many because, well, it's raining. If it's a sunny day, then more people go out on the bike with their kids, but a little bit less now. So as usual, I will try to add some comments left and right, but keep in mind I'm not cycling to any new locations, but it's more for me to test the setup. So leave in the comments what you think about it. I'm not saying it's going to be a boring ride, but it will be not going anywhere. I'm also pondering, I'm not doing live commentary when I'm biking anymore because I think it does not work as well. And also, of course, you're talking if you're at a traffic light, for example, people look quite weirdly at you. And I'm considering slowing down the video, so that's a test that I'll do later. But I bike about 23, 24 kilometers an hour, and on the video it might look that I'm going quite fast. I'm actually not going that fast, not crazy fast. And I talked about this before. In this video it looks like you are going quicker than you actually are because of the position of the camera. It's now, but you can see it if we are passing this lady. The camera is about, I would say, belly height. And that means that it looks faster than it is. So I'm considering slowing down the video by about 20 to 30%. That would mean that you are driving about the same speed as other people are on their bikes. But then, of course, I have to record the voice separately, because otherwise my voice would also go way slower like this. So that's one thing I'm considering. And the second thing, which I think also makes sense, if I not even I'm bothered to watch the video again, and also do the color correcting, which I'm so that basically making sure that the colors are correct, or at least will be correct, because I'm still trying to figure out how this works with this camera. If I don't, I am not willing to watch it and comment on it while I'm doing it, why would anybody else do it? You can see the water on the side of the roads, and so you can see that there's been raining before. So we are now entering the older part of the city. So these two city centers are connected by a kind of a fixed road. This is kind of normal in for bigger roads in the Netherlands, and you can see kind of all the infrastructure, right? So you see on the total right side the walking path, then what we call a Venteweg, which is basically a smaller road going into the different streets. Always single direction, and yeah, but some parking spaces. Then you normally get a bicycle path, which I would argue most of the time is two-directional. Even if it's not officially two-directional, keep in mind that people will go in both directions. Then we see on where the white van is now the car road. And well, luckily we get a bus here, and we can see two bus lanes. And of course then you have the car road to the other side. Again, parked cars, then the protected bicycle path, and then the walking path. And if possible, they will put some trees between the bicycle path and the first road. Of course, it's nice to have green, but it's also a little bit for protection, so that let's say lazy drivers are not considering cutting things short and using that to either park or just get on the adjacent little road. But here you can see a car that needs to be on the adjacent road, cutting across on the bicycle path. They do this quite safely. Again, this looks kind of fast, and he was going a bit fast, but also keep in mind that on the video it looks faster than it actually is. It was quite a gloomy day because it was about to start raining, so the light is changing quite a lot, so it goes from quite depressing to a little bit more sunny, and then in the end raining. I'm not sure if you picked it up, but you saw that it had a sign 30 kilometers an hour. So the little bit higher ground of the buses, which are also red, by the way. So that's one thing, I guess, if you are visiting the Netherlands, I can give you a warning about. Yes, bicycle paths are red, but sometimes also bus lanes, special bus lanes, are red. So we hear an ambulance or fire truck coming. And we are now looking straight forward to the city center. And I define the city center basically as where the central station is, where all the trains are coming. Utrecht is the fourth biggest city in the Netherlands, and it has the biggest train station because it's the one that's in the middle of the country. And I think, top of my head, it has 21 different rail tracks. We got a lot of green lights on this circling around the city this morning, so that's good. There are quite a few windmills in the city, and on our right we are heading up to a windmill. It's called the Star. And most of the I'm not sure, I didn't check, but most of the time there are people on Saturdays uh, getting some food, sitting around. Difficult to see, but you saw the mill a little bit. I don't think there are many people there right now. This is what we would call a reclaimed road. It used to be cars mostly. It's still allowed for cars, but you see what they have done. They have they've made it red because signaling that it's a bicycle path. That does not just mean that they painted red, but they really put special asphalt there, which is made for bicycles. And you see in the middle there's normal stones, cobblestones. So if you're driving here with a car, which is allowed, you are kind of softly pressured to stay behind the bicycles or make noise when you are passing. Um, it's kind of a way to, yeah, tell cars that they are guests. And we see a sign at the beginning, which we can't read because we are looking at the wrong side, of course, which says cars are guests. You also notice that I wanted to pass these other people on the bike, so I also went over the cobblestones. Kind of funny, the crossing here is one of the most busy ones in the Netherlands for bicycles. You wouldn't guess it, but it's quite busy. And we will pass it, I think, 3 times during this trip, because I'm doing kind of loop-the-loops. And you can see we are continuing in these, what we would call streets which are bike first and cars are guests. I'm not sure if they have an official name. You also notice, and that's kind of true for most Dutch cities, that there's a lot of water. The most noisy things in the city these days is these scooters. I hope they soon will all be electric or e-bikes, but the normal ones are quite noisy. You see a lot of these bikes, so the yellow and blue ones, as you noticed. These are from the train company, what we call the NS. And they are also the biggest bike rental place. So basically lots of people go by train at the beginning point or the end point. They might take an NS fiets or what we call OV fiets and yeah, continue to the destination. So not just tourists, but also I would say, I have to look up the numbers, but I would guess 80% of these people are not tourists. They didn't rent a bike because they don't have a bike. They probably own multiple bikes, but they're taking one because they didn't want to take the bike with them. So they go by train somewhere and then get a rental bike at the train station and go. And you saw a little kid, of course, on the bike. Saturday and Sunday, especially if the weather is not too bad, you see a lot of parents teaching their kids to bike. So let's call this the Three Bridges ride, because I think we are going 3 times over the big water, which is a canal from Utrecht to Amsterdam, called the Amsterdam Rijnkanaal. And we are now slowly creeping up the first bridge. There are 5 bridges, and sometimes I try to pass them all, because we don't have any hills, of course, but we do have bridges, so, and it kind of connects to city parts. Of course, it was Saturday, so you also see people on their racing bikes. And if you're on a racing bike, normally you would have a helmet on, unlike on a normal bike. So first time crossing the bridge. It's quite a wide canal. And a lot of traffic goes there, moving stuff. And later on, I'm not sure. Yeah, we are going to take that one. We are actually driving to it now. So if you watch a lot of Dutch bicycle videos, you've probably passed that one. It's called the Daphne Schippers Bridge, which is an athlete in the Netherlands. The bridge is a cycling bridge which ends on top of a school and then circles back down. Because these two city centers needed to be connected, and there was two obstacles. In the end, I will probably pass it and talk about it. One part is going over a major highway, which you already passed in the beginning of the video. And the other obstacle was the water, the canal. So there's lots of bridges over the canal. And yeah, but even then people had to drive about a kilometer to get to the next bridge. And they said, well, that's not good enough. So they put in a special cycling bridge, which is again called the Daphne Schippers Bridge. This is still kind of a part where they are building. And we are actually next to the road, and you can already see it here a bit. This part will go underground. Maybe I can point it out. And then continue for a few kilometers, the highway goes underground. So that it's easy to build on top of it and connect it to city parts. It's not fully done, but in the end I think there's supposed to be about 120, 130,000 people living in this area of the city. And this part is not done yet. So we already see on the right side the Daphne Schippers Bridge, which a few years ago was totally standing alone. It was pretty nice to take a picture of. But now, of course, slowly they are rebuilding the city around it. You can see on this side they are now building homes. I guess there will probably be homes. So it will slowly be locked in also on this side. On the other side, it's already locked in by older homes. That's why they built it on top of the school, because they didn't have any room. So right in front of us, the road goes under the ground. Not this road, but the highway is under the ground. But we are going to the right, onto the bridge. And all these homes were not there a few years ago. And soon the bridge will be totally, I wouldn't say hidden, but the beginning, the end point will be quite hidden. Some videos will go the other direction. This video, first we go on the straight part and then we do the loop to go down again. So the other bridge was on our right, and we also already went on the bridge on the left, which I think we are going to pass again. Yeah, because otherwise I can't go back. So, but here this bridge you can see, this is especially for cycling, and because it would be too steep, it actually slowly winds down, and we are now riding on top of the school. And we circle back, still on top of the school slowly, and we might see a little bit of the square. There it is, and there you see the school indeed, where we're driving on top. If you see people in these orange jackets, they are mostly from a food company delivering food. It was in the morning, so we don't see many, but normally you would see quite a lot. This is totally redone a few weeks ago, and so there's no greenery yet. But the major difference again here is that they make it so that it's really easy to cross, even if there's a lot of traffic, because there's only one side that you have to look at. You also noticed on a Saturday that the traffic lights are actually turned off. They are blinking orange. It's not that they don't want to pay the power bill, because normally they will be on, but they feel that it's safer to turn them off. I know this sounds weird, but it's quicker because it's not as busy, and the cars know where to look, and bicycle people know where to look, cyclists know where to look. So it's sort of let them figure it out all by themselves instead of forcing them to wait for a long time. If they don't use the construction with the, which I think is probably newer in design, this is a little bit older. If they don't use the cobblestones in the middle, they will put speed bumps in the road. I have to look it up, but I'm guessing that that's more newer guideline. A nice park. Used to be a soda factory here. It was quite smelly. And we are now going to the same crossing we passed before, and now going the other direction. Again, it's a very busy bicycle crossing. And people are doing their Saturday things, right? And I think we are going to follow the water, where I can talk a little bit about what we are seeing there. I've seen some interesting bikes already, but I forgot to comment on them. So you see cargo bikes and stuff like that. See the same bridge, but we just went from the left to the right, and now we are going. I decided like 5 seconds before I was at this point to continue driving because the weather was still okay. It was not raining, so I decided to do another loop. And what you see on your left, although the camera is a little bit low, is that you see a lot of people using canoes. And they are doing that for sports. And we will probably pass one or two cyclists, which are going really slow, and they are actually training the people in the canoes. They are doing it as a sport, and they are being trained. And this is quite a long waterway, so they use this quite a lot. And at the end, they have their clubhouses, so there are a lot of in this water training. And these are not just for fun, these are really athletes. Not all the time, but some of them are really athletes, so they can go really fast. But for them, this is a good way to train. And I think that's one of the things I like about bicycling, especially with the modern e-bikes also, is that you can combine things, right? So in this case, and I'm pretty sure we will meet a few further along. The trainer can basically be on his bicycle or on an e-bike and yell to them, and they use these old-fashioned or modern horns to yell to them instructions what they need to do. Or you will see somebody on a bicycle next to a runner, or let's say a speed bicycling next to a partner which is on an e-bike. It is also quite Dutch, I would argue, is that you see that there's a pathway, in this case going slightly under the water, going below the road, just to make it easier for bicycles to pass the road. So there's actually two ways to pass it. Either you decide that you are going to go left or right, and then you take the top way, or if you want to go down or up. But if you really want to go straight through, you can just go under the bridge. You also notice that, especially in these weird sort of side roads, most people don't signal the direction, or there are really small hints. So you have to keep your eyes out. Okay, here you see probably somebody who is helping with the training, right? You see she's in a canoe over there. And the guy in the yellow is going a little bit slow, I'm assuming. In fact, he has a horn thingy in his hand to yell at them or instruct them. It's difficult to see in the video, but it's getting slightly darker now, so that means that I was a little bit afraid it was going to rain. And he also, I'm guessing he's also supporting the canoe in training. Again, you see the signs that cars, I guess. Just a reminder, I'm going about 22 kilometers, 23 kilometers an hour, so about, I don't know, what is that, 15-ish miles an hour, 14, 15 miles an hour. But it looks a little bit faster on the video. The lower you are to the ground, the higher the speed. Now I'm not going slow compared to other people on bikes, but I'm also not going crazy fast. So the average would be in the Netherlands about 16, 17 kilometers an hour, so about 10 miles an hour. And I max out at about 15. So there's a speed difference, and that means that you're riding defensively. But I'm not going crazy fast. And you also notice that if you see a racing bike, then they always pass me quite quickly. So they are going like 30 or 40. You see the yellow, blue bikes. You see them quite a lot. You also see light blue bikes or greenish, and they are from a company called Tier, which is a rental company for e-bikes. And in Utrecht, it depends on the city, but in Utrecht they are quite popular. The other ones that we have is bakfietsen, so cargo bikes that you can put your kids or partner in or stuff. And they are called Kangaroo. No, not Kangaroo, but close to that. Cargo, I think. Really nice on the right side. Again, I'm being passed by 2 cars in this case, so you can prove that the cars can drive here. We also see on our left these floating homes. Sometimes there's really old ships, as you can see on the one over there. But most of the time they are specially built for it. And again, you notice on this quite long straight path, so there you see race bikes and they're going quite fast. But I'm not going, in this case, not going under the bridge. I'm going to the right and then getting ready to go over the bridge again. Oh, actually, I think we are passing 5 times. I forgot how many times I passed it, but I think it's 5 in total. But this is a new bridge. We have not gone over before. So we're going over 4 different bridges. But the same water. I used to live on the right side, left side of where we are now. Next to an IKEA. Until the city told me I was not supposed to live next to the IKEA, and then I moved to the new part of the city. So one downside of the new camera setup is that I'm not using automatic horizontal mode anymore, which I was using before. That means that if I'm standing still, I'm leaning to one side a little bit, and that then the horizon is a bit off. But I kind of like that you can now see that if you're going to a corner, that kind of slowly bends. So, and unlike when I was having it on my steering wheel, it's quite smooth, of course, because the bicycle, unlike your steering wheel, is not moving all over the place. Leave a comment if you dislike me talking over the video. My guess is that you can always turn it off if you don't want to hear it. It's a pity that you can't do, I will look into that, if you can't do left and right channels, but I don't think you can turn it off and on in YouTube, because otherwise you could do it on one side or put it in mono. Or so we do have trams in Utrecht, but there's only a few lines, and you saw the tram passing by. Notice, although the cars have traffic lights, that we most of the time don't. Again, a park on our right side. Park Transwijk. You see the same kind of course it depends a little bit where we are, but over the last 30 years most of the roads have been redesigned. So in this case we see again a park on one side, then walking path, then the bicycle path, 2 directions, then roads, in this case 2 lanes, then in this case not a bus lane but the metro lane, and then it repeats on the other side the same way. So it's not about turning car lanes into bicycle paths, is about giving all the modes of transport their own place. So because it has been raining, you hear the cars a little bit more, and also the bicycles a little bit more, because of course the tires then make a little bit more road noise. One downside of having so many trees next to bicycle paths is that they tend to break up the roots, tend to break up the bicycle path. You can see that here there was lots of cracks already. So they shave it off. The machine comes and they flatten it out again by shaving the top layer off. But it also means that every few years they have to replace the bicycle path. I guess over time they decided this is the price that we have to pay for having trees next to the bicycle paths, which of course everybody likes. I'm always kind of impressed with the size of some of the bicycles small kids are driving. Also about my speed, it looks like I'm again going crazy fast at the traffic light. I'm not crazy fast. I'm doing a good speed, but it's also partly my bike. The bike that I'm using, you don't have to shift; it will automatically sort of go. It's an e-bike, so it does support me, so that makes me go a bit faster also. But also I don't have to use gears. It automatically does gears for me, and it does that very smooth. That means that you're very quick if you're at a traffic light. Interesting bus, an electric bus. And why it's interesting is for Dutch, I would say reasons, but normally in the Netherlands we don't see buses with only one extended part. Normally you would see like 2 of them. So there are not many of these types of buses around. And again, you see we are going to another bridge over the same water. And you also kind of see why the school actually decided to integrate with the bridge on the other side. Because you see that the ramp going up is quite long here. And they simply didn't have the room on the other side. Because there's so much ship traffic, the bridges have to be quite high. Further along, I have a small break in the video because I forgot to clear the memory card, so it was full. So we do a little bit of a jump of about 20 or 30 meters. I stood there assuming that the battery or the camera was overheating because it's a new camera. I didn't know what was to expect. It was not overheating, it was actually the card was full. So we'll probably cut her out around here. Or jump. It will not cut out, but it will jump. And I'm around the corner already. So on the right side there's an off-ramp, which I'm about to take, I'm guessing about now. I heard the bleep bleep of the camera, and there we go. So you can see the same bridge on the right side again. I guess in a way the water array, the canal, is quite important, at least in my videos, because I bicycle next to it quite a lot, and also going from one part to the other part almost always involves passing the one. So we see the bridge in front of us, which we have passed before, and maybe if you look really carefully when we get closer, you see a yellow bridge, and that was the first bridge that we passed. And in between these two is the bicycling bridge. So there's 4 bridges, the one behind us and 3 of them in front of us. And there's actually a 5th one, which is closer to the next village called Marsen. And that's the 5th bridge. So sometimes I go for a ride and I take all the 5 bridges. So I forgot how long this ride was, I have to check, but I will put it in the comments, probably about 25-30 kilometers. So there's quite a lot of open spaces, as you noticed, and on the left side they had a big event last week, so they put up a lot of tents, and I think it was a dance festival. So you can now clearly see the bridge which we just passed. I assume, or we are going to pass. Sorry, I forgot. Since this is sort of a test video for the camera, I didn't plan it out completely. So it's kind of also random for me what we are going to do at the end of this road, because I forgot where I was going next. So this is a road which is probably already quite old, so I'm guessing once they resurface it, it will also become one of these red roads with the cobblestones in the middle. And if you look really carefully, you can see the bicycle bridge, which you can see because it looks like one of the traffic, one of the lights poles, and next after it you see the yellow bridge, which we also call the coffee bridge. And we call it the coffee bridge not because there's coffee there, although there is, because one of the biggest coffee factories in the Netherlands, Douwe Egberts, is located there. So again we are getting up to sort of a crossing point which I can go different loops. So I bicycle in loops about 50 kilometers a day. So I forgot where I'm going. I think I'm going I'm going forward. And I think pretty soon it started to rain. So my luck was over, otherwise I would have gone for another loop. But when it started to rain, I decided to finish this loop but go home, so I didn't get totally wet. I did have my rain pants with me, but of course, if it starts to rain, you always have to figure, okay, do I get off and put it on, or do I just continue and hope that it stops, or do I continue and go quickly home? See here, they already resurface it, and it's a red road again. Same idea. Cars are allowed here. Mostly only the cars that people own in the different homes, you can see. And I think in all our travels today, in this video, I think we have seen 4 or 5 cars that we interacted with. Because they needed to be on that little road. For some reason. Now the sun was coming out. That was a good hint that it was about to start raining. I'm taking now the middle of the road simply because I didn't want to scare her by cutting in quite close to where the bollards are. And again, water to our right side. Lots of water in the Netherlands. These bollards, or in this case they're not even bollards anymore, are being knocked over quite often. Sorry. So again, if I'm too close to a bollard, I will probably pass her on the middle of the road, which is fine, because cars know that bicyclists will do that. And I also have, unlike most people in the Netherlands, I do enjoy and have a small mirror on my bike. And I check, of course, before I do that. But the speeds on the road like this will be 30 kilometers for cars also. So bicycles normally will be limited to 25 kilometers an hour and cars will be limited to 30 kilometers an hour. Now, as a bicyclist and a walker, you're not supposed to be in the middle of the road, so you see that they signal that as with the grey. Although you see combinations of this, so bigger, smaller. And it does not mean that you that cars will go crazy fast. It does mean that you're not supposed to bicycle there. Kind of the same with the cars, right? There's a reason why there's not a continuous white line. So cars are, oh, it's actually 50 kilometers, sorry. It was 50 kilometers. Normally cars can use the bicycle path if need be, and the same for bicycles, but just you have to keep an eye out. But you can see how, I'm not sure, I don't think any cars have passed us while we were on this road. And of course now you see that it started to rain. You can see it and you can hear it, and there's already a spot on the lens. So I decided to finish this loop and then go home. So now I'm slowly getting wet, and the question becomes, how wet will I get before I stop to put on rain pants, or do I continue riding? This is actually quite a fun bridge we are getting, not this one but the one next to it, because it's extremely high. I'm not sure why they put it there. Well, there's also one here. So you can walk up and down, of course, again, but it's quite a steep sort of climb. And it's on both sides of the bridge. So what happens, I guess more than in some other countries, is that a city grows and sort of swallows up nearby villages. So this was a village called the Meren, and it's slowly being incorporated into the city of Utrecht. He did stop and put his raincoat on. I refused. I will keep biking. But I've decided to finish this loop, and we are getting close to our starting point again. The rain is picking up, as you can see. But I had to go out because I wanted to test the camera, and it will be a rainy day for the rest of the day. So of course you can also take an umbrella with you on the bicycle. I never do that, but this girl is doing it, and I think I stay behind her for a few seconds. Maybe I should put this picture up here, because you see weirdest things on bicycles. So yesterday I was also doing a test, and I saw two girls on a bicycle, and one of them was pedaling, the other one was sitting in on the bar in between the bikes, and she was actually steering. And the first girl was eating an ice cream. I will put a picture up when we are on the straight part here. Probably I'll put it up now in the corner. And you will see that one girl is eating his ice cream. She's actually pedaling. And the other one is steering, which is amazing. She's not a small girl, so I'm not saying that she's big, but she's a grown lady. Quite amazing what some people do on a Dutch bike. And this was yesterday around 6 o'clock, so it's quite a busy, and it was in the central part of the city, near the central station. So they're quite trained in how to use a bike. So we're slowly getting to the end point where we started. Before I got totally drenched, I decided to call it a day. So thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you what you like about this new setup, or what you don't like about the new setup. For me, it's already quite clear that I need some more work to get the colors correctly and some of the other things. But I do like the way that I can quickly make videos now, which will result in me recording more videos. Because before it was quite a lot of work to put the camera on, and it was very visible, and also if it would fall off, it will probably break quite quickly. And this one is a much more sturdy solution, which I can click on in seconds and just go. I might make a small lens but a rain cover for the camera, like a small umbrella sort of tape type, to see if that helps for the rain getting on the lens. So in front of us, you can't see it, but then is the yellow road, the yellow bridge again, and that's kind of where we started bicycling up that one. So again, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Now that the new camera setup is working, I will try, if the weather permits. So it's now September in the Netherlands. That means it is sort of mixed weather situations. But I will try to make a few more going to the different parts of around the city. So going to a destination, not just doing a loop. So see you in the next one. Bye bye.